our viewers out there love books, and I know you love books. You have written a chapter
Yeah.
on examining the place of female musicians in Zimbabwe's music industry.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what 3 books would you recommend to our book-loving audience out there?
I'll start with a book that was a set piece, I think, at some point, Crossing the Boundary Fence. And Crossing the Boundary Fence is a book for me, even in my young head, depicted society on vari kumusoro nevari pasi, and the difference between that color and that color. And for me, it was more than just
Who
the
wrote that
issues of
book, sorry?
color. I don't remember.
That's all right. We'll find it.
Yeah, we have to. But it is a book that, Crossing the Boundary Fence. I don't remember who wrote the book, but it was a book that I think made me start to think critically about issues and how there will always be a division. It might be between, people and where they come from, or how rich or how poor they are, or the color of their skin, for example, that there will always be that line. And sometimes people are towing that line in the decisions that they make that impact on the society. And that's why the book remains a book that I think of.
Which other book would you recommend?
I was in grade 3. It was my first novel to read in Shona, and the names are running away from me. The book is called Akanganyimo Avangarara. And it was written and set in Kadoma, where I was raised between grade 4 and grade 7. And so before I even lived with my grandmother, I read Akanganyimo Avangarara. And my mom said, oh, but I went to school with the other author because it was written by 2 guys. And again, it depicts things on how you think everyone is sleeping and it's just you. But there'll always be someone who knows your issues. There'll always be someone who knows that thing that you did in secret. And Akanganyimo depicts that.
The 3rd book?
The 3rd book is Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. I read Losing My Virginity, and Richard Branson gave me a reason to be a risk taker. Because in that book, he talks about how he was managing Phil Collins and the gang. It speaks about him purchasing an island. Imagine that, an island. And failing as a manager, failing in that business, but not stopping. And today in my house, I have Virgin Media. Can you imagine? And this is someone who is a true story of, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself and you try again. And my life has been about that. And it doesn't matter how I'm coming in as a musician, as a mother.
You said you keep on asking yourself, we're rounding off now. Yeah. What's the next big thing?
I think I want to involve myself more with communities of people that are in situations. Because in the process of working with the women that have been trafficked, my thesis for my master's was on my story as a woman and the challenges that I faced, and it's very personal. It's not published yet, but it's very personal. But having seen and experienced these women, my next step is my PhD should be on these communities and how the music, brings out that woman who's wearing her,
mask.
Her mask, and she's coming from that community that puts their veil like this and covers themselves. But when we sit together, they take it off and they tell you the things that